When men do the same things week after week, they expect similar results. But when metabolism is unstable, outcomes begin to feel random, even chaotic. This is one of the most frustrating experiences men describe. Effort stays the same. Discipline stays the same. But results fluctuate in ways that feel impossible to predict. Progress only feels random when the system producing it is unstable. In a stable metabolic system, small inputs produce predictable outputs. Effort maps cleanly to results. Consistency is rewarded with consistency. But when regulation becomes fragile, that relationship breaks. The same meal, the same workout, or the same routine can produce very different responses from one day to the next. Not because behavior changed, but because the system interpreting it did. An unstable metabolic system has low buffering capacity. Buffering capacity is the system's ability to absorb variation without consequence. In a healthy state, small changes in sleep, stress, timing, or intake are quietly absorbed. Energy availability remains steady. Hunger rises and falls predictably. Fat access opens when needed. But when buffering capacity is reduced, these same small variations are no longer neutral. They amplify. A slightly shorter night of sleep creates disproportionate fatigue. A mildly stressful day alters energy availability. A small timing change shifts hunger dramatically. From the outside, nothing looks different. From the inside, regulation is unstable. This instability makes outcomes feel erratic. Energy feels good one day and flat the next. Hunger feels manageable one week and overwhelming the next. Fat loss appears briefly and then stalls without explanation. To the person experiencing it, progress no longer feels linear. It feels unpredictable. This unpredictability creates a specific mental burden. When effort does not reliably translate into results, confidence erodes. Men begin to second-guess routines that once worked. They stop trusting hunger cues. They stop trusting energy levels. Over time, they stop trusting their own judgment. This is where many men make a critical misinterpretation. They assume inconsistency means they are doing something wrong. They respond by tightening control, more tracking, more restriction, more rules. But the issue is not a lack of discipline. Discipline is already present. The issue is that discipline is being applied to a system that no longer responds consistently. When regulation is unstable, even correct decisions can produce undesirable outcomes. This creates a sense of walking on unstable ground. The same step feels safe one day and risky the next. Random feeling outcomes are not random at all. They are the surface expression of an unstable regulatory system. Beneath the visible behavior, internal signals fluctuate. Energy access opens and closes inconsistently. Storage and release bias shifts based on stress, sleep, and timing. The system becomes reactive rather than adaptive. Instead of correcting small deviations quietly, it amplifies them. This amplification is what creates the appearance of randomness. This also explains why motivation often collapses after sustained effort, not before. Early on, effort still produces visible results. Over time, as buffering capacity declines, effort becomes less predictive. Results lag, reversals occur, confidence fades. Motivation does not fail because the person becomes lazy. It fails because the system no longer rewards consistency in a predictable way. Humans are wired to persist when cause and effect are clear. When outcomes feel arbitrary, persistence becomes psychologically expensive. Another important consequence of instability is sensitivity. As regulation becomes more rigid, sensitivity increases. Timing matters more. Sleep matters more. Stress matters more. Small deviations that once had no impact now carry consequences. Two men may follow similar routines and apply similar effort, yet diverge rapidly because one system absorbs variation, while the other reacts to it. Over time, this divergence grows. One man experiences gradual progress. The other experiences cycles of progress and reversal. The difference is not willpower. It is regulatory stability. Here is the critical point. The body does not respond to advice directly. It responds to how that advice is interpreted through the current regulatory state. The same input can be perceived as manageable in one system and threatening in another. One system integrates the input smoothly. The other compensates aggressively. This difference determines whether progress feels steady or fragile. It also explains why copying someone else's plan often fails. The plan itself may be sound. The system applying it may not be ready to interpret it in the same way. At this stage, generic advice becomes less reliable. What matters is not what the advice says, but how the body responds to it. Interpretation becomes more important than information. Understanding response patterns matters more than accumulating more rules. Until regulation becomes more stable, outcomes will continue to vary, regardless of how carefully behavior is controlled. This is not a moral failure. It is a physiological state. In the next video, we will explore why some men experience rapid improvements once stability returns, while others see only gradual change, even when doing similar things. This difference is not accidental. It reflects how stability is restored and how sensitivity resolves over time. This video is for educational purposes only. This is not medical advice. Always consult your physician.